Okay, so here's a quick showing, hey, I connected my USB cable to the PS42. I need to make sure that, or what COM port is it connected to? And so we see that from the camera that the USB cable is connected. And with your KeyDigital device, it's always going to be this prolific USB to serial. So it shows you the COM port number. It's there listed in the ports, not under USB devices, universal serial bus controllers, as you see at the bottom there. So prolific USB to serial. So now we could close this device manager, and if we open PuTTY or TerraTerm one more time, when we're making our connection to the device, make sure to choose that correct COM port. And it's a little unique, but you also, with our USB, when you're using our USB as a serial port, that is going to be at 115200. So we can select that, and we can now enter control where we could send our status command, and that's going to basically show you that it's 100%. So next we're going to update the firmware application, or open the firmware application. And we're going to load the firmware through the COM port, choosing that COM port that it's connected to. And again, the speed of the USB is 115200. We press the connect button and we see it green. Now we go to the upgrade firmware tab. We locate the file that's there in the folder. And we go ahead and begin the upgrade. And we could see the LEDs on the face of the PS42. Just kind of going back and forth indicating the firmware. So we're going to go ahead and just pause the video so you don't have to see the whole process. So here on the firmware upgrade part 2.9.1, this is the second after 1.1 is completed. You see the LEDs are totally off. So just an important note that that will happen. Okay, so now we are on the third part of the firmware upgrade. So this is upgrading part 2.9.2 after we did previously finish 1.1 and 2.9.1. So I'll go ahead and just pause so that you don't have to stay through the whole process. But so far it's taken about 3 minutes or so. Okay, after 2.9.2 is 2.3.1, which we see goes a little faster and still has no LED activity on the front lights. And now we're on to the next section, which is called 2.11.1. So this is going a little slower, so we'll pause once again. Okay, so 2.11.1 has finished, and now the lights came back up and showed like a boot up kind of sequence. And we see the message at the bottom, which says firmware upgrade successful. So that's good. Now we can close the upgrade tool, and we're going to go ahead and open again TerraTerm to just verify successful communication once again. So the COM port we select, and we set the baud rate, which is 115.2 for the USB port on the front. We send the status command. So we have it successful there. Now, as I instructed, if you're doing an integrated control of your AMP 220, there's actually, we normally set that using KeyDigital management software. But of course, KeyDigital management software is just a graphic user interface for these line string commands. So I want to show you the commands we use to basically to turn on the amplifier control. So the first command is that we see here, SPO AMP on, and then if we have a microphone, it would be SPO MIC on. So if you have a mic, if you don't have a mic, you can leave that in the off position. And then the other thing that is very important is to set the baud rate of this is the unit control baud rate, the Phoenix connector on the rear of the unit, to 9,600. And that's very important because that when we have the control coming from the KeyDigital app, Compass Control, or KeyDigital management software coming in on the IP, it's going to come out the unit control port on at this speed. So we're going to manually send the command now for turning on amp control and setting the baud rate. And now we have sent the status command, and we can see that the RS-232 baud rate, 9,600, very good. And at the bottom, we see the amp control is turned on. And this is the firmware plus the amp control. And this is the process for any presentation switcher. And even our Pro 4x1X, Pro 2x1X has a similar process, but the firmware upload is faster.